Hi guys, welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to show you a tutorial on how to set up the Boeing 737-800 ZiboMod with the Zibo full checklist from preliminary pre-flight procedure, pushback start, engine start, you name it, everything's here, right down to how to set the ILS. I'm going to leave a link in the description so you guys can check it out for yourselves, and I'm going to actually do it right now to show you. And let's get cracking. So ground services, you'll set your chocks and your GPU, get that connected. Next up, we've got parking brake, which is set, battery on and guarded, standby power on, ground power on, AC/DC, ground power and bat check. Next we go up to the IRS. We'll switch that all the way over to the right for heading/sys. And we're going to basically click a line on both of them, and then once they go, the light goes out for the 1 minute, then we'll turn to nav, go into the FMC and set up the IRS. After that we've got cab, util and IFE, which is both on. We have emergency exit lights, which we can turn on right now. That's check. Next, no smoking exterior and anti-collision. Anti-collision's off, we don't have no smoking, but we'll just call that as fasten seatbelts, so they're on auto. Window heat as required, I'll turn it on just for now to show everyone. So we'll test it and then switch them all on. Next after that, IRS and airport ref position. So we're just going to wait now for the light to go out, and then we'll do exactly what I said. So the light's gone out, so we turn both alignments to nav and they'll start to flash. So as it says on the checklist, IRS and airport ref position. So we're going to go into the FMC, we're going to click position inish down at the bottom, and then if we click next page, paste either GPS left or GPS right, either one, but I'll do GPS left. Then we'll go back a page, paste it in, and all the systems will come to life, which means that the IRS is aligned, and to check that there is no problems up above. No, everything's fine. If there's a problem, sometimes you can have on DC, which then is going to cause problems. But everything was fine. So now we'll turn on our probe heat. Check. Anti-ice wing and engines, they're off. Engine hydraulic pumps are on and electric hydraulic pumps are off. All fuel pumps are off. Check. Trim air to open. And isolation valve is already opened. Left and right recirc fans auto, which they are. Fuel before APU start is already loaded. Cruise and landing altitudes set, which they are. You'll change them to whichever you're going to do, but that has to be done. So I will change that once I go into the FMC. Next up we've got our passenger cargo and fasten seatbelts, so they'll go on to auto fasten seatbelts. Route, perf inish and N1. So now we're going to go back into the FMC and we're going to basically set up our route. So we're going to say we're going from Luton Airport, which is my hometown, and our destination is going to be, let's say, Gibraltar. Okay, then after that we'll go into our perf, where we're now going to basically type in our fuel. So if we go to the Avi tab and click on fuel and weight, zero fuel weight is 123.3 pounds. I'll change that to kilos, you can have it in whichever you want. So we'll click that into the zero fuel weight, and then our gross weight is also done. We can say we're going to do a reserve of 1 and cost index of 25. Now after that we're going to do our N1 limit, which is telling us our thrust and also our climb rates. So we'll say whichever, I'll do it at its lowest thrust, and then if we go to takeoff we can do flaps 5, and then there's all our V speeds, which will also put 145 into the auto throttles. That's our V2. It does say on the checklist V2 plus 15, but I'm just going to leave it at V2 at 145. After that is all set, what I'm going to do is, because I'm not going to basically put our altitude in there, because it will tell us now, I'm basically going to go to our departure. And let's say we're going from runway 08, and we're going to use the Charlie Papa Tango 6 Charlie, and then after that would go into our route, where we'll then basically put in the whole of your flight plan. But the way the checklist is designed, you'll do your route, and then after your route is set, you'll then do your perf. So set up your route first, then do your weights and everything to get your cruising altitude. So we'll say we're going to go to there, and then just say we want to go to Pimos, just for example. And then once we've got our route and flight plan, we'll select our landing none. We're going to land on runway 09, we'll turn the glide slope on, and we're going to go by Pimos. So once that's all set, then you basically want to click activate, and then you go to your perf N1, which will bring up what we just did. So you do your route, then the perf initial will click up. It says we can go for 379. I'll tell it we're going to go for 370, and then you basically execute that, because we've already done our takeoff revs. So now the aircraft in the FMC is set up, we'd then go ahead and set our QNH, which we will just turn on here. So you turn it to the right, and then you can set your QNH up and down. We'll just say ours is 1010, which is set. Then next up we've got the APU. You want to hold that for 3 seconds for the APU start. Once the low pressure light starts, then we're just going to wait for the EGT to elevate, and then once it drops, we'll then have power to start the N1 and 2s. We don't really need to do this because we've already turned the ground power on, but I'm going to do it anyway, just so everything's all in order. Okay, so now it's available, we want to turn them on. After that, APU and engine bleeds are on. Our AC and DCs now go to BAT and APU gen. Now that's our preliminary pre-flight procedure. Now we do our pre-flight procedure, which will now be as follows. So we'll go flight directors are on, auto throttle off, IS max selector V2 plus 15, but we've got that set, so let's check. Altitude, our cruise level, we're going to 37,000. Check. After that, we've got our fuel flow, reset rate, minimums, we'll just say set. Landing gear down, speed brake lever down, thrust levers closed, start levers cut off, and yaw damper on if IRS is aligned, which it is, so we can turn that on. That is the pre-flight procedures. now we'll just start the engines so you can see what happens. So next up it says System B, electronic hydro pumps. I'm going to turn them both on because we're going to start both anyway. Fuel pumps with fuel on. So if you had fuel in all of these, we'll turn all of them on. Anti-collision light on, and position steady. Next up, left and right pack off, which they are. Engine ignition, we will go with the right first. Actually, we'll go for the left. Okay, so we'll touch. Here you can see the engine 1 starting. So what we'll do is get some fuel into there. So engine 1's now coming to life, and as you can also see now, because we chose takeoff setting number 2 on the FMC, we've now got a max power setting of 91.8% for N1. So that will be our max takeoff performance and our performance for the engine. So now engine 1 is started, we can go ahead and ignite engine number 2. Okay, let's set fuel in. Okay, so engine number 2 now is all online. Next up we're going to do engine 1 and 2 gen, turn them to on, and now we can also turn the batteries to BAT and gen 1. And after that our probe heat would go on. We've already got that on. Anti-ice, which is already off, you can have that on. Left and right pack to auto, check. Isolation valve auto, check. And APU bleed off, and APU start off. Okay, so that is the procedure, guys. If you don't turn on the APU engine gens, so N1 and 2, what will happen is if you try to start them without anything, you're going to see a total blackout. But if it does do that, just basically turn the APU gen back on, and it'll all work fine again. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope that helped, and I look forward to seeing you all very soon. So take care for now.